Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots. I'm here with Andrew Lee, bro. Andrew Lee, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing very well, man. Hope you enjoyed your Memorial Day weekend.
It was all right. We're talking about WrestleMania 10, and I have to admit that for the most part, I really thought this was fucking atrocious. I just this doesn't feel like WrestleMania to me. And like there's two great matches on this show, and we'll get into it. But like for the most part, it just feels like he completely lost his touch when this show came around.
That's a fair assessment. I will say that's very fair what you
I
said.
I think what makes this show great is basically like Sean, Owen, and Brett going into business for themselves. Like Sean went over his time. He went way over. He got yelled at by Macho Man. But if he didn't go over his time, this show would have been fucking atrocious.
Why did you get yelled at by Macho Man?
Because that's not. Because it's not fair. They had
Oh,
to cut.
Macho Man was just doing like he was just doing the senior like
Well,
talent
the
kind of.
10-man tag got cut because they went over their time. But his reason is like
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it.
that is kind of messed up because you're costing people money.
Yeah, you're costing 10 guys their spotlight, but I think for the long term health of I hate to sound like this, the brand, the WrestleMania brand, Shawn Michaels had to go that long. And we'll get into why when we get to that match. But let's start. Let's start. What did you think overall of this? Because I know you were a little Vinceaholic back in '94, and I wasn't. What'd you think of this show?
Vince Vinceaholic.
Well, there was no Hulkamania. I don't know what they call Bret Hart fans. What were you? An Owen? An
No, I
Owen?
was a Bret Hart fan. I was a huge Bret Hart fan.
I guess you were a hitaholic.
Oh, Hitaholic.
What'd you think of
I
this
was
show back then
I
as a
actually I
kid?
don't know what a bread jerker. I don't know. I was a bread jerker.
You were a curtain jerker.
I'd actually never watched WrestleMania 10. I think I did see the two the
Classics.
two good matches in this pay-per-view, and
The
I will
two
say
good
something.
matches.
Those two matches still hold up very well. I would say I agree with you with your assessment that the rest of this card is
Horrible.
really nothing. Didn't you say that this is considered one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time?
Yes, but that was in the so I in 1998 people were like because these two matches are so good by default it's the best. But that was before like every pay-per-view had a great match, right? Now I feel like
Mhm.
we've had 25 years of great matches. So I would say that this right now I don't care how good those two matches are. I think this is the worst WrestleMania we've seen because it leaves me feeling no hope at the end. I'm like this company's doomed at the end of this show.
No, I think that WrestleMania with the I think that was WrestleMania 4 with the tournament. That one was not good.
But I had more fun watching it. The bad on this show is so bad. It's so bad. It's like it's worse than because at least all the WrestleMania 4 bad is building to something good.
I guess, but man, that show dragged. I remember watching one like, man, this show is
Well,
dragging. I didn't really feel that here. I didn't really
because this
feel like it
show's
was
short.
dragging.
This show is short.
Yeah, yeah. No, okay. Here's the thing: are some matches bad? Yes, but I didn't feel for one moment that any match overstayed its welcome. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you
Well,
say that's fair?
I mean, the good thing about this WrestleMania is that it is short. We're never gonna see a WrestleMania this short ever again. So
Yeah, yeah, and I think that makes it good. So let's get right into it. WrestleMania 10, 10 years in the making. That's right. I can't believe we did 10 years of WrestleMania. Happens on March 20th, 1994, at the place where it all started, Madison Square Garden in New York City. 18,065 people are there in attendance. For comparison, the previous WrestleMania 9 had 16,891. So it's an improvement in the numbers.
well, New
WrestleMania,
York was always passionate for wrestling, and I'm sure there's a lot of longtime fans who went because it was 10. I wasn't one of them. Obviously, I hated wrestling, and we actually made fun of a kid in our class for going. We
oh,
said to him, "Did you get a hard on when Lex Luger came out in his red, white, and blue panties?"
I bet you he's probably listening to this like, what a fucking hypocrite this fucker
Oh,
had
I'm
to
sure
be.
this guy doesn't like wrestling at all anymore. He's like, he's got a wife and a kid, and he's like, right now, like building a deck.
Yeah,
And I'm
he's like
sitting
the
here in the
tables are
same.
turned, Goots. Uh, WrestleMania 11, the WrestleMania that's going to be after this, it's going to have go back down to 16,305. So WrestleMania 10 is actually 2,000 more people attended than the WrestleMania before and after. However, the WrestleMania 8, which was two prior, had 62,000
Well,
plus people.
that's unfair to compare because you can't fit that many people in a square garden. So
That's true.
even if 62,000 people wanted to go, where are they going to go?
That is true. Good, fair point.
Mhm.
But let's take a look at the pay per view buys then. Okay, WrestleMania 10 had 420,000 buys. In comparison, WrestleMania 11, which is the next WrestleMania, will have 340,000 buys. WrestleMania 12 will have 290,000 buys. So WrestleMania 10 had more people watching than the next two WrestleManias on pay per
Well,
view.
people lose interest year after year. I remember when because I didn't see another WrestleMania. I went from 9 to 13. That was the next one I watched, and I remember being like, "Oh man!" Until I saw the Bret Hart match in that show, I'm like, man, I remember when WrestleMania used to be a big deal. And when I went back and watched 10 through 12, they don't feel like big deals to me. They certainly
Mm,
don't feel like what's become with 40. But
yeah.
even back then, like when I put on 13, 13 was the first pay per view I watched when I rented the VHS tape, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like a big deal anymore. It just feels like a regular show.
Yeah, there was a point in the teens, the WrestleMania teens, where it doesn't really feel like anything, and
Mhm.
you really hear about it. It's not until
I think 14.
WrestleMania where it's like with Mike Tyson that actually feels like
That's
something.
14. Yeah, that's when it feels like
Oh,
a
that's
big deal
14.
again.
Yeah, that becomes a
Mhm.
big deal again. Yeah. All right, so we begin the show with a nostalgia video package of a montage of WrestleMania 1. It turns into a rock and roll music of WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
And we have Vince Jr. welcome the audience and introduces Johnny B. Bad to sing the national anthem. It is Little Richard, where the choir surrounding the ring. He will sing the national anthem. And let me tell you something, folks. He is lip syncing. He is not really singing.
Uh,
It is terrible. It's very obvious because some of it is not matching up with the audio. And when the song finishes and they actually turn on his microphone, the audio changes significantly as he's thanking the crowd. So you could totally tell the whole time he was not really singing. Man, what a way to fall. That was not good. I did not like that. He
I
is
mean,
62 at this point, so I guess he kind of gives him a pass. What did you think?
he's old. But he was the king of rock and roll back in the day. But he's old, and Vince forced him to do this by gunpoint. Actually, he had Janelle Grant take a shit on him if he didn't do
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Found the young
Janelle
Janelle
Grant
Grant.
took a dump in his face. That's why he had to lip sync. Speaking of dumps, Vince Jr. welcomes back Jerry Lawler on commentary. All right, and
Mm-hmm.
they come fresh from his rape case, I guess.
Freshman is rape. What a way.
That's
Hey,
what it
remember that
was,
rape
right?
case? Here's Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, that's what he was though. He went away because he was getting charged for rape.
Yeah,
Yeah. And he Jerry Lawler is able to beat it because he's powerful and
in
famous.
Memphis. It happened in Memphis. He controls everything.
Exactly. And then he's on commentary. And to Jerry Lawler's credit, he is great on commentary. Um, and Junior and Jerry Lawler, they recap the Bret Hart and Owen Hart feud. And we're going to go right into match number 1. Owen versus Bret. Owen comes out and he's got his left leg taped up. And while he's coming out, we do get a shot of superfan Vladimir. He's back, bro. He's back in the front row. Um, Bret comes out. Owen, right off the beginning, he's acting like an ass, really obnoxious cheering every time he does something, yanking Bret's hair and stuff. And we get a let's go Bret chant from the audience. And it leads to a really nice monkey flip spot. And Bret sends Owen Hart to the outside. And then Bret throws Owen back into the ring. as Owen tries to leave the match, and Brett says, "Nah," and throws it back in, and Brett starts turning up the heat. Bam, 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 attacks. Owen though hits a really nice spinning heel kick, which really takes out Brett, and the beatdown begins, including ramming Brett back first into the ring post on the outside. They do a really fun spot where Owen Irish whips Bret hard, but Bret reverses the Irish whip, and Owen actually ends up jumping straight into the second turnbuckles, and then he does a crossbody on Bret. But Bret, like as he falls, he reverses it into a cover for a 2 count. That was a really good spot. I don't know. Did you see that spot I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was good.
Very smooth.
Everything about this match is fucking classic.
Yeah, Law, you're actually absolutely right. Jerry Lawler says Owen. He said, "Owen, use your fist right in the mouth, knock those teeth out." As they start running the ropes, and Owen Hart flips over in a tilt-a-whirl into a tombstone on Bret Hart. That was a great spot too, but I've always agreed with this. Owen should never have been doing the tombstone. I don't know why the fuck he was doing the tombstone.
I don't know why either.
Yeah, that's like, and how did nobody say anything? Because like back then, like that would be like someone just randomly doing the sharpshooter for a transition.
I mean, well, if you ask the guy, he might have asked Undertaker's permission, and Undertaker might have said yes. I wonder if we can get any thing on that.
Someone should ask Undertaker now that he has a podcast about that, because I
I
just
know
feel
that.
like just weird. It looks great, but it's like you're doing some guy's finishing move as a transition move. It's very weird, you know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, dude, if he had stopped doing that move, Steve Austin probably would have been around for. He'd be wrestling in AEW right now, jumping off cages on top of Gangrel. So
I think, yeah, probably, yeah, and maybe if he didn't do that tombstone on Stone Cold, maybe Stone Cold would have, maybe WF wouldn't have caught fire like the way they did, because
yeah.
would have let that storyline where they can't let it. But anyway, that tombstone spot leads to Owen Hart climbing the top rope. He tries to do a flying splash but misses, and Brett starts his comeback. However, Owen hits his enziguri, and then he tries a sharpshooter, but Brett reverses it into his own. But Owen gets out of it, and then he tries a rolling body vice cover, which gets a 2 count for another fun spot. Brett hits a slingshot plancha to Owen on the outside, but then he starts clutching his left knee. And Lawler states that he landed right on the concrete with it. I was like, that's a great call by Jerry Lawler. Owen Hart starts working the left leg, including whipping it against the ring post. And Owen starts even mocks Brett's limp and everything, and he puts him in a submission as we get another "Let's Go Brett" chant. Owen puts Brett in a figure four, but Brett's able to roll out, and then he fights back and hits a superplex, but he's too slow for the cover, and it only leads to a 2 count. Owen low blows Brett behind Earl Hebner and puts on the sharpshooter, but fights back and reverses. But Brett fights back and reverses, but Owen is once again too close to the ropes. Brett finally tries a victory roll while he's on Owen Hart's shoulders, but Owen, instead of rolling with it, he sits down, preventing the full roll through, and he gets the win. The crowd is shocked. Owen starts mocking Brett to his face. Owen runs to the back. Todd Pettengill is with him, and Owen's got that stupid white spit on his face, and he's going like, "I'm the best now. I'm the best." I think this is a classic match. What about you?
This is a great match. This is one of the best matches I've ever seen.
Yeah,
It's a great It's one of the best openings in pay-per-view history, and yeah, I love it. It's fantastic.
I
It
would
would be
say
a great way to start, and also it puts doubt in people's minds, like what's going to happen now with Brett and Yoko later.
I would actually say they should not have put this match first.
Well, they have to
The
because you
reason
build.
why, yeah,
No, it has to be first because you have to build anticipation for Brett fighting Yoko later.
no, I think you could have still did that without it going first. I just think the reason why it shouldn't
Well,
have gone
but I
first.
think also Brett needs to rest before he needs he needs the most time to rest.
I understand that, but I'm saying like you didn't have to put it first. I think you could have put it like, dude, he did King of the Ring. He did 3 matches in a row. He could have done. You could have put this match fourth, and it still haven't come out the end.
No. What? Then
The
he no.
reason the
He
reason why I don't think this match should have went first is that it just set the bar way too fucking high. and I think it really hurt the next few matches because
Well, that's on them. That's not on Bret Hart. I think no, you have to have this match first. Fourth, you don't build. There's not that many matches on this card, and Bret, you need to build anticipation. What's going to happen to Bret? If it's fourth, there's not that many matches left. You know?
there's 9 matches on this.
Yeah, it's not. No,
8.
it's.
I would have
I
put it
think it's
fourth.
perfect the way where it is. It's not. Listen, it's not his fault that Vince hired a bunch of fucking losers.
Okay. Well, if you're listening, let us know who you guys agree with, actually.
Yeah.
But let's move on. During this match, remember, it's a 10-year anniversary, so we're going to get a whole bunch of WrestleMania moments. They're going to show you WrestleMania 2, the moment. They're going to recap the Battle Royal. I guess that was the highlight of WrestleMania 2.
Well, if you notice, they're trying to show highlights of people that are either dead or not, or still with the company. And because all their top guys are no longer there, they can't like. The real highlight is Hulk Hogan and the other guy, fucking King Kong Bundy, but they can't show that.
Yeah, because neither guy are with them. Yeah, with the
Yeah.
company. Bill Dunn is the announcer. Bill Dunn, some guy was like, oh, like, who is this guy? I had to look him up. He will be fired. He will be let go from WWF in 1997 when they're downsizing because they're financially low. But he's actually was with the company for 9.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Dunn welcomes Cy Sperling from the Hair Club for Men. That is the not only the president but the client. And he welcomes, hey, look at Howard Finkel, who's got a wig on. He goes, look what I did for him. Man, I remember I missed these days. You know, I was watching this, I was like, man, I missed the days when like you could just be like a commercial salesman and you'd be like an instant celebrity.
Look at the but you still got that the My Pillow guy. He's a
The
celebrity.
what?
The My Pillow guy's a celebrity.
Is he really?
Yeah, people know who he is.
Yeah, I don't think I know who that guy is.
Mike, yeah, he dude, he tours with Trump. Trump brings him all around like his fucking like he's his Patterson and Briscoe.
No, I mean like I want to see like Flo from Progressive like at WrestleMania, like like you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm
Like
sure all they gotta do is pay, dude. They'll have Flo win the women's title if they pay him enough.
but you know what I'm saying? Like they had that like Herb from the Burger King commercial guy. They had Cy Sperling from the Hair Club for Men commercial. Like it's like oh yeah, I remember back in the day where you're just like you're on a couple of commercials and you're like Jake from State Farm should be at one of these WrestleManias, bro.
Yeah, no, 100.
Anyway, we're going to go to match number 2. This is a mixed tag match. It is Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon versus Doink and Dink. And actually, as they're walking out, Doink he sprays water on Cy Sperling out of his flower water
Mm-hmm.
gun. And the commentators mentioned it didn't affect his hair at all. I was like, yeah, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this is a mixed tag match, right? And the last time the last time they had a mixed tag match at WrestleMania was WrestleMania 6, Dusty Rhodes, Sapphire versus Savage and Sherry. So that was 1990. So that's about what, 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Bam Bam Bigelow, he starts the attack before Doink's song even ends, and Dink tags in and he wants a piece of Bam Bam, but then Luna tags in. And I guess basically what they're trying to say is that women and little people are on equal playing fields. I guess that's what they're
Yes.
saying, right?
Yes. A woman, if you're a midget, you can only fight women.
Yeah, it was very weird. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Dink is constantly like targeting Luna's butt, which I thought was that's what.
Well, that's all the midgets. The midgets always bit butts. That's what they like to do.
Yeah, that's the majority of the little people's offense, biting the butt and slapping the butt. Doink and Bam Bam Bigelow, they do return to the ring. They tagged in, and Bam Bam sent Doink outside. And Dink, once Doink is outside, Dink comes back in and he wants a piece of Bam Bam. But Dink is able to evade both Bam Bam and Luna Vachon. Dink gets knocked off the apron, and then Bam Bam hits the flying headbutt on Doink for the win. Afterwards, Dink kicks Bam Bam, and Luna Vachon and Bam Bam, they try to do a double splash on Dink, and they're supposed to miss, but Luna actually ends up splashing Dink, and they have to play it off like that didn't happen. and that Think survived, and Doink and Think end up standing strong. What did you think about this match?
I hated this fucking match. I mean, Doink, it's over for Doink. This guy is not even in this. This guy is not the same worker as Matt Bourne at all. It's over, and this match is horrible, and it's stupid, and just they should have just booked Doink versus Bam Bam. I mean, that might have been a better match, but this is just like everything people are afraid of with Doink came true in this match. Like this guy's horrible. Like it's over. Doink's over. Like they've ruined Doink. They've destroyed Doink. Since from November to now, they have destroyed the Doink character. No one cares.
I actually, if anything, I would have made this the first match because it's just like a crowd pleaser match because people like Doink,
Mm-hmm.
and just like get it out of the way, just make it go first, get it out of the way. That's what I would have.
Yeah.
Because when the first show's beginning, you don't have to impress them that much with the first match. You just gotta make them happy. That's what I would.
I think what they were going for is like it was like a 3 act play, and they wanted breaks between every act. So
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah.
So now comes one of the worst. They're gonna do this. They're gonna speaking of a 3 act play where they want sprinkled in. This is
Mm-hmm.
the first act of one of the things I hated the most. They're gonna play "Hail to the Chief," and they're gonna
Oh,
show
this was
the
horrible.
Bill Clinton lookalike in the stands waving. He's with Jack Tunney, President Jack Tunney, and he is with IRS right behind him. They're gonna be fucking showing this guy repeatedly throughout the show. I fucking hated this. It's so stupid.
I hated this with a passion. This was not funny then. It's not funny now. It's a waste of time at WrestleMania. You
Mhm.
want to scream at Shawn Michaels for going long. Scream at Vince. They could have had the 10-man match instead of this shit. I don't know why he thought this was so fucking good.
Yeah, if you took this stuff out, you could have easily saved, I would say about 6 and 7 minutes,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah. WrestleMania, they do a recap of WrestleMania 3 and they go like 93,000 fans for Hulk Hogan and Andre. So they do show Hogan here.
Well, that's because Andre's involved, and now that he died, he's an eternal a member of the roster. So
Yeah. I actually felt like they were like, man, they shouldn't have been doing these because it kind of made you remember how good other WrestleManias were. I was
yeah,
like, yeah,
that
I
was
was
the
like,
other thing
"Ugh."
too. It's like, man,
Yeah,
you really,
yeah.
you really fucked up letting Hogan go. You really fucked
Yeah,
up. Like,
I was like watching this going like I don't want to show these like
yeah,
recaps. It makes you go like it's like when WCW was like, hey, remember when Super Brawl 3 happened? How good it was? This is just as good.
yeah,
Remember when
yeah, yeah.
that's what it felt like. We're going to match number 3, Falls Count Anywhere match. We got Macho Man versus Crush with Mr. Fuji. Who comes out with Mr. Fuji? I'm sorry. Savage attacks Crush right away as he's walking down the aisle. But Crush drops Savage on the guardrail and then he pins him. So now the way this works is not like a traditional false count anywhere match that we know. Back then, this was you pin them and they've got basically 1 minute to get back into the ring or they lose.
Mhm.
So Crush gets the first pinfall, and now Savage has a minute to get back to the ring, and he reaches the ring. But as soon as he reaches the ring, when the ref's not looking, Fuji he nails Savage with the flag in his back, and Savage goes back down. However, he is able to climb back into the ring with 2 seconds left. Crush gets some salt, and he wants to throw it in Savage's face, but Savage is able to turn the tide and get it thrown in Crush's eyes instead. And then he sends him out to the outside and hits his elbow drop. He hits his elbow drop on Crush and sends him outside, and he pins him out there. And Crush is now has a 60. He has like 60 seconds to get back in the ring. Fuji pours water all over Crush's face, and he gets him back into the ring at 2 seconds left as well. Savage then gets dumped over the top to the floor, and then they Crush and Savage start fighting into the fans. They fight through the fans, and then they fight. They start making their way to the back, and then Savage slams Crush through 2 doors, head first through 2 doors, and then pins him. And then Savage ties up his feet, Crush's feet on a pulley, and hangs him upside down. But the pulley's not strong enough, so Crush kind of comes right back down. But he can't untie himself out of the pulley, and he cannot get back to the ring in under a minute. So Savage wins as wins with a busted lip as he's bleeding from the lips. What did you think about match number 3?
What a sad way for Savage to go out. And I really do feel like the rules they gave this match hampered it for these guys to have a good match. I really do think
Yes, just a
Savage asked to
weird set of rules.
horrible set of rules. Savage gets pinned in 3 seconds when the match starts, so you've already made him like an idiot. I just felt like this was a way to get the fans to stop cheering Savage this match or to stop wanting Savage in the ring. Everything about this match hindered it from being good. There's only like it's just horrible rules. Like just make it falls count anywhere and 1, 2, 3 match is over. Like I didn't like it. I hated this match. I hated it.
And both guys did their job, I would say. Both guys were working.
There's only
They
so
were
much
really
you could
working
do.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really working hard, and it's not like a bad match. I'm not going to say it was a terrible match, but you're absolutely right. The rules keep it from being like a fun match. It's just like annoying. The rules
And
are
you know
annoying.
what's worse? This is Savage's last WWF pay per view match. He never has another match from WWF pay per view ever again.
You know what's sadder than that? We have to go back to Bill Clinton.
Oh,
So Todd Pettengill, he is with the fake Bill Clinton, and now that we've got a close up of this guy, you can totally tell it's not Bill Clinton. See, before the first time, they do a faraway shot, so it's like if they just had left it like that, it's like, oh yeah, it's fine. But they get a close up with this guy, and it's clearly not Bill Clinton. And they ask him, "Hey, do you like WrestleMania?" And then they go like, "Hey, do you know this guy IRS?" And IRS shakes Bill Clinton's hand. He goes, "Hey, congratulations, Mr. President, for raising the taxes." Oh, it is what it is.
this is one of the moments when I start like getting really mad at this show and getting mad at like you guys had it. You guys had it like 3 years ago. You had it with 7, and you don't know, and now it's just completely gone.
Yeah, there's like no point in this stupid Bill Clinton thing. I don't know why
He
like
Vince
he's so
thinks it's funny.
adamant about doing this Bill Clinton thing. You know,
Vince
right?
thinks it's funny.
Yeah. Um, so Todd Pettengill, he recaps the first fan fest that they're having at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 10 is the first like fan interaction thing. You got a Doink the Clown dunk tank. You can get into the ring and kind of have like a wrestling match. There's a Happy Jack the Clown. I don't know. That's what they said it was. I don't know who that is. You could take pictures with superstars. You can buy toys. You can get on commentary and call a match. You can have a sumo suit match. You can take pictures with Paul Bear at the funeral home. This is basically like the first
This is actually probably
edition.
the second most important thing to happen this weekend. This fan because this now we have the WrestleMania store and everything.
Yeah. This was like the what do they call it now? The fan full access.
Yeah, fan access. Yeah, but this was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. This was like the first incarnation of that. So this is a very historical thing, absolutely, So cool stuff, I wonder if anybody has actually a memorabilia from going to that first fan fest. That's gotta be worth something.
Zack Ryder, I think, does. He was there.
Really? Wow,
Okay.
that's pretty dope.
Mhm.
Now comes the part that was kind of confusing to me. They show you Randy Savage, and he gets on the microphone and he says, "You ain't seen nothing yet," and then he just goes into the crowd, and that was it. It was very
Yeah, he
weird.
was at the so they I guess that they had spillover at the theater. The MSG has that little theater
Oh
down
yeah,
below.
yeah. Uh
So
huh.
he we didn't see nothing yet. He's going to WCW in a few months. The fucking wrestle
Yeah,
Ric Flair. So
I
he
guess
was
you're right.
right.
Yeah. Well, it does lead to the WrestleMania 4 recap, which is Savage winning the tournament. So there's that. Speaking of 4, we're gonna go to match number 4. It is for the women's title. Leilani Kai is in the ring. She gets no entrance,
Mhm.
which is kind of sad. And she's much older now, and she's a little bigger, but she's wearing a slimming black suit, all black suit. And she's gonna be facing the champion, Alundra Blade. You are keeping score at home. The last time WrestleMania had a women's title match was WrestleMania. Can you guess?
2.
Yes, exactly. This is WrestleMania 10. The last time there was a women's title match was WrestleMania 2, Fabulous Moolah versus a Velvet McIntyre in 1986. It's almost 10 years ago. And the last WWF pay-per-view to feature a women's title match was Royal Rumble 1989, Rockin' Robin versus Judy Martin, who is also Leilani Kai's partner in the Glamour Girl. So this is a very long time. They just got rid of the title for a very long time, and now it's back. Alundra Blaze, she gets some ring fireworks, and then she gets a very quick Owen Hart graphic that shows up under her for some reason. Very WCW esque. And then, anyway, this match, Blaze hits a multiple sunset flips in the beginning. Basic heel offense by Leilani Kai, including like grabbing her hair and throwing her out. But Leilani Kai does do a nice butterfly slam. But Alundra Blaze hits a German suplex with a bridge to win a very quick 3-minute match. They show you Freddie Blassie, Captain Lou Albano, Nikolai Volkov, Fabulous Moolah, and Mae Young to show you that I guess only old people care about this fucking match. I guess that's what they're trying to do. I don't know why they show the old people.
Yeah, this match. First of all, they took away a lot of Alundra Blaze's sex appeal with the costume they put her in. And it was just so short. And it's like you hire Alundra Blaze, you hire Medusa, and like we're gonna do this new women's wrestling, and then you have her fight this old bag. And it's like, I don't know what they expected, but not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, it was really quick. Why did they show the old people?
They needed to. I guess they wanted to show some legends from WrestleMania 1. That's all they could get. Everybody else hated them at the time.
No, but why show it at the women's match?
They needed a moment to show. I guess because Captain Lou was involved with Cyndi Lauper. He was part of that angle.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. Okay.
And I guess they're like, well, they'll take this moment and Fabulous Moolah. So there's two, and then they're like, we need to show some of these people who still like us and they don't want to show Piper yet because that's a surprise at the end. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. WrestleMania 5 recap. Speaking of Piper, it is Piper spraying Morton Downey Jr. with the fucking extinguisher and what I remember being a terrible fucking segment. I can't believe that is the WrestleMania moment they want to show.
They don't want to show Hogan beating Savage. They can't show the Warrior. They can't show Demolition. Everyone DiBiase loses to Beefcake. Everyone they can't show anything. I guess they could show the Hart Foundation beating. No, they don't like Honky Tonk Man right now. Back then, if they didn't like you, they act like you didn't exist, even in the past.
I mean, they were doing that up till like 2022.
I know. Now they finally just don't give a shit. They're like you.
Yeah. Men on a Mission with Oscar, they start making their way to the ring and they start a whoop, there it is chant. That's right. 1994, it's still going strong, that song.
Yeah.
Todd Pettengill is in the back with Rhonda Shear. Now, when I was a kid, I did not know who she was. But she is known for USA's
Up All Night
show. But I thought she was famous for being like Burt Reynolds' wife. That's what I actually thought. I did not know who she was.
No, it's not at all.
Shawn Michaels joins in and he says, Rhonda and I, we're an item, like playing it off like they're dating. But then Burt Reynolds, her husband, does show up. And he tells Shawn, hey, why don't you go shave that chest? And then Rhonda and Burt Reynolds, they start flirting about being up all night. He goes, oh, you're up all night. Goes, I'm up all night. How about we do something about it? Let's go to Fan Fest. That's exactly what they say. I thought that was really funny, actually. That was pretty good. We're going to go to match number 5. It is for the tag titles. Men on a Mission with Oscar versus the champions, the Quebecers, with their manager, Johnny Polo. The Quebecers attack Men on a Mission right before the bell even rings. And however, Mabel is just massive and he's too much for both Quebecers. And the match progresses with Mo and Pierre really starting off the match. And Mo, however, gets choked on the tag ropes by Jacques behind the referee. So Mo starts getting worked over. While Mo's on the outside, Jacques, he launches Pierre over the top rope to Mo in a really cool spot. Almost suicidal. You guys don't know, Pierre will end up becoming PCO, wrestling even now today, and he's still doing those crazy dives over the top. It's crazy, this guy. Fans chant, let's go, Mo. Let's go, Mo. And Mo hits a very ugly-looking cannonball, and he finally makes the hot tag to Mabel. But the double team is too much, and the and too much for Mabel. And the Quebecers are able to hit a double vertical suplex on Giant Mabel for a really cool spot. Johnny Polo is happy about it as well, but they can't get the win. Mabel is finally able to fight off the double team from the Quebecers, and then they hit a stacked big splash. But Johnny Polo is distracting the referee, and Polo pulls out the Quebecers. So Men on a Mission win by DQ. Men on the Mission, they, however, have the belts, and they're like, we're not giving it up. And Oscar gets another "Oop, there it is" chant going. I like this match. This was actually a very well worked match. The Quebecers are a very good tag team, and the ending sucked though. But this was a fun match.
Really? I don't like this match at all. I
Really,
was
the
bored by
Quebecers
it.
are
I don't
good.
like either tag team. You know what? To me, it's like you have the Steiners on the payroll. They're not even on this show, and you have this fat sack of shit and these two idiots on the show. And it's like, why couldn't you do the Steiners versus like some I don't know Steiners versus
Well,
something?
I mean, Mabel was pretty. Mabel wasn't bad in this match. Hit that, like the Quebecers hit some cool moves. That thing where they launched Pierre over the top rope, people are like, "Oh shit!" Because back then you're not seeing stuff
Yeah.
like that too much. And when they hit that double vertical suplex on Mabel, that was a big spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I thought it wasn't bad. It was okay for what it was.
Okay.
We got a WrestleMania 6 recap of Hogan and versus Warrior. And then we get the celebrity guests for the next match coming up. We got special guest timekeeper, Rhonda Shear. Special guest ring announcer, Donnie Wahlberg of the New Kids on the Block. He does get a boot a little bit when he comes out.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah. And we're going to go to match number 6. It is for the WWF World title. And the special guest referee is going to be the returning Mr. Perfect. And people cheer because they did not know this was going to happen. Yokozuna is the champion. He comes out with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette versus Lex Luger, who's finally got better music than that stupid American song.
Mm-hmm.
Lex Luger gets red, white, and blue fireworks, and then Yoko starts the match by finger poking Lex Luger. Lex responds with punches, but one clothesline from Yokozuna puts Lex down. But Lex is able to fire back, and Yoko has to go outside for a breather. Lex sends Yoko headfirst into the steps, and he rolls him back in, and he hits a crossbody for a close 2 count. Lex tries to slam Yokozuna like he did on the boat, but Yokozuna falls on top of him because he's now much fatter than he was before. And then Yokozuna goes and he rips off one of the top turnbuckles. Yoko puts in on a few long trapezius grips. That's like submission right over here by your neck. He's gonna do this a long time, man, multiple times. And Yoko throws Lex out, and Lex takes a bump on the rails for some reason, and he turns back into the ring, and he gets right back into the trapezius grip. After some time, Lex Luger finally slams Yoko's head on the exposed turnbuckle and floors Yokozuna with a clothesline and a slam. Lex Luger hits his forearm on Yokozuna. Jim Cornette gets on the apron. He brings Cornette in and hits him, and he also crumbles Mr. Fuji, and then he goes for a pin. But Mr. Perfect is not counting. Mr. Perfect is checking on Jim Cornette. He's checking on Mr. Fuji, and Lex is getting annoyed, so he shoves Mr. Perfect, and Mr. Perfect says, "Hey, he shoved the referee." He calls for the bell, DQ. Yokozuna wins, and Mr. Perfect leaves. Lex is frustrated as fans start chanting bullshit. Todd Pettingill's in the back with Mr. Perfect, and he's asking what happened. Lex comes running back, and he gets right in Mr. Perfect's face, and they start arguing with each other as the officials try to break it up. What did you think about this world title match?
I mean, it was fucking. I mean, listen, a lot of the problems this company has could have just been solved with fucking Lex winning at SummerSlam. I was listening to Bruce Pritchard's podcast today, and he goes like, "I would have had Hogan I would have had Hogan lose to Yokozuna at SummerSlam." And they go, "What about the Lex Express? We just don't do it because fuck him." Da-da-da. No, dude, this is all your fault. This is all the fault of you and Vince. If you just had the guy win or had the guy look half intelligent at some point between August and now, because the fans are still cheering for this guy, they're
Yes.
pissed that he doesn't win. So they're
Yes.
behind him. You just You just are repeating the same mistakes that everyone in Jim Crockett and WCW made with this guy, but you want to blame him when he does his fucking job. So a lot of the issues this company has and this show and this fucking federation, all this shit, a lot of the just he just should have won at SummerSlam. This was stupid. I didn't like the. I would have liked the finish. I think if Mr. Perfect came back as a heel and they had a feud, but Mr. Perfect vanishes and never really has another match in WWF ever again. So it was just a waste of time. It was just a waste of time, and it made Lex look stupid. And also, you know what? If you want to really make the stakes go build for Brett for that main event, just have Yoko beat him clean. And then it's like, oh fuck, what is Brett gonna do? Yoko beat Lex clean. He's a killer.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think okay. I think probably Lex Luger in the 90s and late 80s was probably like a real douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely, right?
Okay, yeah, probably.
But you know what? Here's the thing. It doesn't
Not my
fucking
problem.
matter. You gotta everybody works with douchebag,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how many
And
times
the fans liked him.
how many douchebags have you worked with in comedy? But you still gotta work with them. You're still professional, right?
And a lot of these douchebags have a ton of fans, and you just gotta fucking roll with it. The thing about it is
Exactly.
that we've now watched all these pay per views. We understand this guy was a douchebag. He's actually pretty good in the ring. And if you keep booking finishes where he looks like a complete fucking idiot, oh, he's not getting over. Yeah, because he's like one of the only guys I've never seen a guy in history booked more to look fucking stupid than this guy. How is he supposed to get over?
No, you're absolutely right. This is they are we actually owe WCW an apology on how they booked Lex Luger because WWF did the same fucking thing. They did the same
Exactly.
fucking thing. So it's like we
And
gotta
then they
be fair.
blame him.
And it's like,
Everyone just blames him. Everyone just blames him.
yeah,
Like
everybody blames Lex
he
Luger. It's
didn't.
like, no,
He
dude,
wasn't
the
singing
fans
back, Vince. I demand I win by count out, not pinfall at SummerSlam.
yeah, the fans are clearly behind Lex. They fucking love this guy,
Yeah.
and they loved him in WCW. They love him here, even though he's treated like a fucking idiot multiple times. It's just like, dude, you guys just gotta roll. Who cares if he's a dickhead? Who the fuck cares, right? I
Yeah.
agree. Stupid.
Stupid.
WrestleMania 7, the moment is the blindfold match. They can recap that. Then Howard Finkel, he's in the ring and he's about to introduce Harvey Whippleman, but they get into it in the ring. And Harvey starts making fun of Howard Finkel, calling him monkey face. And then he rips his tux. And Fink had enough and he pushes Harvey Whippleman down. And then out comes Adam Bomb and he grabs Finkel because, Harvey Whippleman is his manager. When out of nowhere, Earthquake runs in. He runs down and he hits a belly hits a belly to belly on Adam Bomb, and then he hits a power slam and does a earthquake splash to win a 30-second, I guess the seventh match of the pay
I,
per view.
I'm fine with this. Is my third best match of the night. I'm fine with it. Earthquake's got to look. Earthquake has to look strong. I think he's returning now. He's a face. It's a singles run. I mean, doesn't work. He leaves in a few months, but I'm fine with it.
This it is good to. It's important to note that after this match, Junior does speculate. Oh, I would love to see Earthquake versus Yokozuna in the future.
Oh, they
That's
do
what they're.
that feud on Raw.
Yeah, that's what they're building towards. Yeah. Todd Pettengill, he is with Jim Cornette and Yokozuna, and Cornette starts running down Lex Luger and how he beat him. And then he brings up Bret Hart, and he goes, and he starts running down Bret Hart for losing to his own brother, and then about how he injured his knee in that match. And he goes, don't think we didn't see that. And he ends the promo with, Yokozuna is the shark, the ring is the ocean, and Bret, you're just the blood in the water. Great promo by Jim Cornette. I know you said you weren't really happy with pairing Jim Cornette with Yokozuna, but I think
Oh, I never
I
said
liked
that.
it. Oh, I thought you did. Am I wrong? My
No,
bad.
no, no.
I
I
like
get it.
having.
I think sometimes Jim Cornette's a little too southern, but I mean, he's perfect to help out Yoko cut promos.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he does cut good promos, and I always liked him with Yokozuna. And that was a good promo by Jim Cornette. We're gonna get our WrestleMania 8 recap, and it is actually the appearance of the Undertaker.
Okay, great. They're really running out of highlights. Okay. This is like if they did this for 40 and they're like at WrestleMania 37 Sheamus came to the ring.
Yeah, they're basically running on a highlight. This is like someone's first appearance, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. You see the trajectory. Speaking of the number 8, we're gonna go to our 8th match. It is for the Intercontinental Championship. It's gonna be in a ladder match.
Mhm.
Um, both Intercontinental titles are hanging up at the top. Shawn Michaels comes out with Diesel, and there's a ladder. There's one ladder in this whole match, and it is set up in the aisle in the entranceway. And Shawn Michaels sidesteps the ladder. He goes, "No, no, no, I'm not going under," and he sidesteps it. And when Razor comes out, Razor goes underneath the ladder. So I just love even just that, just even the way they both come into the
Yeah,
ring.
you know what's so
It's
funny though? Scott Hall did have a shitty life, like for like 30 years, and then died on the floor. So maybe he should have not walked underneath the ladder.
yeah, maybe it is bad luck. Yeah. Um, Junior does mention that Sweet Stan Lane, he is on the hotline. You want to speak to Sweet
Oh
Stan
well, let
Lane.
me stop watching this pay-per-view right now and call Sweet Stanley.
Yeah. I like Stan Lane. I like, I was listening to Jim Cornette's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem like he's that big of a fan of Stan Lane.
He likes the Dennis Condrey version of the Midnight Special.
Yeah, I think, kind of holds a little bit of a grudge with Stan Lane because Stan kind of quit right before, like, he quit in Smoky Mountain.
Yeah, I kind of think Jim had in the back of his mind that the Midnights and him could go to WWF, and with Stan Lane gone, and yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah, that's why
we're
they
at
had to bring
50. I'm
in
at
Jimmy
50.
Del Rey.
Yeah, I'm at 50%. So let's keep talking about this
Oh,
match.
okay. All right. So the match begins with a quick back and forth to start, and then Razor Ramon choke slams Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels hits his own neck breaker. But Shawn Michaels tosses Razor out hard to the floor, and then while he's on the floor, Diesel clotheslines him down. Earl Hebner sees this and he sends Diesel out. Go, get out of here. Go to the back.
Mhm.
And even though he says this, even though there's no rules to start this match as they stated, but back in the ring, Razor Ramon sends HBK out with a hard clothesline, and he rips up the floor mats. They get back in the ring, and then Shawn Michaels back body drops Razor over the top rope onto the concrete, which allows Shawn Michaels to start getting the ladder in the entranceway. Razor, though, attacks him, and then he brings the ladder to the apron, and Shawn Michaels does a sliding kick, which kicks the ladder into Razor's gut. Shawn Michaels then rams the ladder into Razor's gut 2 more times, and then starts crashing it on Razor's back a couple times. Shawn Michaels starts climbing the ladder set up, but then Razor grabs Shawn's tights and gives him a full moon. But then Shawn Michaels, with a full moon, drops an elbow on Razor Ramon for a very fun spot that the crowd fans really liked. Shawn Michaels then splashes Razor off the ladder, then climbs the ladder again, but Razor pushes him off into the ropes. Razor then runs the ropes at rapid fire pace, and then they clonk heads, and both men are down. So far, if you're keeping track, Shawn Michaels is the only one really attempting to get the belt. Razor hasn't had a chance yet. Razor Ramon reverses. They're both back up, and Razor Ramon reverses an Irish whip, and he Irish whips Shawn Michaels into the ladder and over the top rolls onto the floor, and then he smashes the ladder into Shawn Michaels twice. Razor then monkey flips Shawn Michaels into the ladder, and he falls with the ladder. So he's taking a lot of bumps with the ladder, this Shawn Michaels. Razor Ramon rams the ladder into HBK's face, sending him out to the floor, and the crowd is cheering him on as he's now finally alone in the ring. And as Razor starts climbing the ladder, Shawn Michaels climbs to the top turnbuckle and axe handles Razor down, and both men are down again. They both climb up the ladder and fight on the top, and Razor slams Shawn Michaels down, and Razor falls down as well, hitting the ropes. Razor then resets the ladder, which is now bent, so that when it's standing, it only stands on 3 legs, and he starts climbing. But Shawn Michaels drop kicks the ladder, sending Razor off, and knocks the ladder onto a fallen Razor. Razor then runs the ropes, but he runs right into a super kick, and Shawn Michaels hits a pile driver. Shawn gets on the top turnbuckle, and he rides the ladder down into a splash on Razor. Then he sets up the ladder over Razor Ramon, and as Jerry Lawler says, he's under the ladder. That's double bad luck. And he starts laughing. But Shawn Michaels, when he reaches the top, Razor starts stirring. He starts shaking the ladder. And then he shoulder blocks the ladder. uh, which makes Shawn Michaels fall on the top ropes, protching himself on the top ropes, and then his leg gets tangled up on it.
Mhm.
Shawn is flopping around. He's grasping at the ladder while he's tangled up in the ropes. But Razor gets it and sets up, and he starts climbing as Shawn is struggling to break free. And he does get his leg free, but in the process, he traps his arm in the ropes. And Jerry Lawler is going crazy on commentary. He's going like, "Where's Diesel? Bring out Diesel! Why is the ref doing anything? Help Shawn Michaels! Help him get out!" And Shawn Michaels does free himself, but right when he frees himself and he reaches for the ladder, Razor has already grabbed both titles and he falls down to win the match. Afterwards, Razor reclimbs the bent ladder and he holds up both belts to celebrate. Um, this, I think, may be the best ladder match I've ever seen.
This match, watching this match now, especially now that like, I watched it back in '98 when I got back into wrestling and I was like, it's okay. But now like I'm watching it now, especially what I was impressed about this match is that like Shawn Michaels basically changes what WrestleMania is by sheer force of will. Like I think back in the day, and you listen to wrestlers like Sid or Arn, they were like, yeah, we didn't really care about stealing the show at WrestleMania. It was just another day on the road. And it was just I just hope my payday's good. Yeah. And
Yes.
Shawn went in there and he basically is like, you think Lex is the guy. You guys think Brett is the guy. You even think Owen, I'm the guy. I'm the guy. I've always been the guy. I'm the guy you need to believe in. And he just has like this incredible great match. And I think because of this match, now you have WrestleManias where everyone is trying to have a great match, and the shows are so much better for it. But I think if this match doesn't happen, WrestleMania doesn't become like a great match showcase. People now, like when I was a kid, people weren't like, "Oh my God, Jake the Snake and Rick Martel are gonna have this great match." We just like, I just hope Jake the Snake wins. Now, people when they look at the card, they're like, "This is gonna be a great match. That's gonna be a great match. That's gonna be a great match." You know what I mean? And the wrestlers
Mhm.
work towards it. They're not like no wrestler. You can see what you want about 40, even Jimmy and Jay, they're trying. Everyone's trying to have a great match. And
Wow, you call that time? Okay.
I mean, they're not. I mean, I think there's a reason why we haven't seen Jimmy at all, and we've just seen Jay. I think that match was more Jimmy's fault than Jay's, but it's a really important match, I think, and I didn't appreciate it back in the day, and I think time is very kind to this match. This match kind of sets the stage for a lot of things. I think AEW isn't what it is unless this match happens. He really changed the course of wrestling with this match. These two.
You know what makes this ladder match, I think, the best ladder match is the amount of selling they're doing. Every
Exactly.
single ladder hit, like when he rams the ladder hit into the gut, he's just selling the whole time. Nowadays, those things, if you have watched ladder matches now, they don't
No, they
barely
don't do
sell.
shit.
Yeah.
They don't. And,
Um,
and the other great thing about the match is like the crowd is like taking because like they've never seen people hit each other with ladders before. And it's
yes.
like, oh my God, this is different. Like they're just beating, like they're probably these guys weren't going to be dead at the end of this match. And yeah, I really do think like Shawn Michaels kind of saves the WrestleMania. Shawn and Diesel, they saved the WrestleMania brand with this match. Because if this match doesn't happen, what?
Razor.
Razor, sorry.
Razor.
If this
Yeah.
match doesn't happen, I think this is like a very, very, very bad show.
Yeah. And I would say this, which is also interesting, is only one ladder, right?
Mhm.
And I like that because it's set up so that it's like no, the ladder isn't just to be used as a weapon. It's used as a weapon by accident almost,
Yeah.
by desperation. So I
It's
like that.
really rewatching it now, I haven't watched it in a few years. And again, like I said, in '98, I thought it was kind of what's the big deal? But now that like I've had all these years behind me, and I've been to three WrestleManias. I understand now why this match is so important. And also watching all the pay-per-views, including WCW. Because if you think about it, man, there's been a lot of shitty matches on these pay-per-views.
Yes.
And no one's giving anyone their money's worth. WWF, and then Shawn Michaels comes, and it was Shawn Michaels' call to go over at this time. And Shawn Michaels comes, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna give you your fucking money's worth. I'm gonna make it worth your while to have paid for this.
That and Bret Hart Nolan too. Yes.
Yeah, I know, but like I I don't think anyone expected this to be what it was.
Oh,
I think
I see
people
what you're saying. Okay.
and it really it over delivers, and it doesn't just save the show, it makes the show. No, get the fuck out of here.
All right. So in the back, IRS, he's with Rick the Model Martel, Jeff Jarrett, and the Head Shrinkers, and they're arguing over who's supposed to be the captain, who's going to be the captain. And because of this, Junior says, they can't agree. So there's no tag. There's no
Yeah,
10-man tag because of this.
yeah. Thank God that 10 fucking losers. All right.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of glad that 10-man tag was ended.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know, and
oh yeah, let's cut the ladder match by 12 minutes so these morons can come in.
yeah. I'm glad. Like, can you just pay them without having them to be on the show? Like, I would have been fine.
I hate it. Like they try to get everyone at WrestleMania. I don't think everyone should be at WrestleMania. I think
I
the
agree.
best. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, but if you're the boogeyman, you don't belong at WrestleMania. Maybe now he does.
I get like you want to get everybody a little bit of a payday, but like not everybody. You're right. Not everybody deserves to be
But like on a show this bad, if like you give Shawn Michaels the 30 fucking minutes because that's the only thing that saved your brand is more important than everybody on your roster. Sorry, you're not Shawn Michaels and you're not Bret Hart. You don't deserve to be on this card. Get the fuck out of here.
So after that high, we got to come back down to a low. Todd Pettengill, he is with Bill Clinton, who now meets Ted DiBiase, and they just have a really pointless segment. It is as pointless as Todd Pettengill's pirate earring that he has on. God, I hated that fucking earring that he had.
I hate everything about Todd Pettengill, but we'll get into him next time.
Yeah. WrestleMania 9 recap shows the Caesars' largest toga party and Bret losing to Yokozuna. And this is important because that was last year's main event. Now, this year, the same thing again. It leads to a very long Bret montage with country music that transitions into a Yokozuna package. And we're ready for our main event. We got Jenny Garth as a 90210 right after 90210. She is here to be the guest timekeeper. Burt Reynolds is the guest ring announcer. And Burt Reynolds announces the special guest referee, who is Roddy Piper, who comes up to a really good pop. And we're going to go into match number 9 for the WWF World Title. Yokozuna, the champion, comes out with Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji, and Bret limps out. And Yokozuna attacks him before the bell. Piper is very annoyingly on Yokozuna during the beatdown. After Yokozuna does miss a splash, Bret starts fighting back, headbutting Yokozuna, which takes them both down. Bret, what do you call it? Piper is just arguing with Yokozuna and just really being annoying. He's like arguing with Yoko about Bret's size, and Yoko at a point just yells, looks at Roddy, and he yells, "Why don't you get out of my face?" I was like, "Oh shit!"
I like how
Perfect
every now and then
English.
Yoko can speak English when he's tired of being in character.
Yeah. I think he was just really annoyed by Roddy Piper. It was funny.
Because Roddy Piper's trying to make the show about himself, like he always does.
Yeah. Roddy in the '90s is so fucking annoying. I just can't. I can't stand him in the '90s. It's just really annoying. Jim Cornette, he does pull out Roddy Piper during a 3 count, and Piper just right hands him, and Jim Cornette's gonna be knocked out for a little bit. Yokozuna misses a headbutt. He goes for a headbutt, and he clearly misses Bret. And while that's happening, Junior is on commentary, and Junior just stops talking right when that happens, and I could tell he was probably pissed the fuck off that happened. Like it's so fucking blatantly bad. Yokozuna, he misses a splash in the corner, and then Bret starts his moves of doom, but it's cut off by a Yokozuna catching him and doing a belly to belly. And Yokozuna says, "That's it. I'm setting up for the bonsai drop." He gets up on the second turnbuckle, but then he loses his balance and he falls, hits his head on the mat, and then Bret covers him for the win. What the fuck? This comes out of nowhere. Yokozuna gets up and he's angry and he chases Roddy Piper, leaving Bret laying alone in the ring. And Lex Luger comes out first, and they have a face-off. But then they shake hands. Roddy Piper comes back out. Razor Ramon, Tatanka, Burt Reynolds, 1, 2, 3 Kid. They all come in. They all celebrate and cheer for Bret. Rhonda Shears, Randy Savage, Donnie Wahlberg, Gorilla Monsoon, Razor Ramon, and Lex Luger. They all hoist up Bret. And Junior goes, "You know what? I'm going to join them too." And he joins. Vince McMahon himself goes in there and he shakes Bret's hand. But then Owen Hart comes down. And he's in the aisle just watching this whole thing, and he's shaking his head in disapproval. While the ending of the match sucked, I did like this last image of an Owen Hart like looking on in disapproval.
I
It did
thought
like
the match sucked, the finish sucked, but it doesn't matter. It's the right finish, Brett winning, and
yes,
also the image of Owen in the aisle. And then you know what I love that Macho Man does, like one of the last things he does, he holds open the ropes for Owen. And he's almost like saying like, just make up with this guy, like just make up
yes,
with him. Who cares what happened earlier in the night? Like, and you know what? I didn't never know that before. It meant a lot because he made up with Elizabeth at WrestleMania. So it's almost like
yes,
he's trying to say to him, you're gonna be dead soon. Don't hold a grudge. Like,
yeah,
don't hold a
yeah,
grudge. Hug your brother. I think if you walk, I'm glad he didn't go in the ring, but I think if he walked in the ring and hugged Brett, the place would have exploded. Like if he went in the ring and hugged Brett, but I'm glad he didn't because it makes the ending so much like he won, but at the end he didn't win. He's still in his brother's shadow. He still
yeah,
has more to prove.
absolutely.
It's a
I agree.
really it could have. You know what? If they didn't screw Brett and Owen didn't die, this could have led to like some amazing long term storytelling. But it still does. When they reunite in the Heart Foundation and Owen starts crying, I thought that was great.
Yeah, and I would say overall, there are two matches I think they are a must watch. They're must
Yes.
watch matches if you're a wrestling fan.
It's better than a lot of WCW shows. It's better than the last few, but the bands are really bad. The bands are like, I don't know what you're doing anymore.
Hmm. Yeah.
Guys, that's the episode. Next week we're gonna do Spring Stampede, Ricky Steamboat to Ric Flair. I'm recording my laptop today, and this fucking thing doesn't take a charge, so we're gonna end it. Angela, you have any final thoughts about life?
No, that's it.
That's it, bro. We'll see you next week for Spring Stampede.